Hi, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Ryanico's World. Again, I'm trying the new this new microphone, so let's see if it works. Again, I'm changing positions, and I'll let you know when I finally say, okay, this is a good position. Because every time when I'm going back and hearing it and listening to it, I'm like, you know what? It sounds a little different, and I hear kind of mush. So I'm playing around, see how it works. But wanted to see if it works permanently this way. So hopefully it does. Let's get going with the prayer for this morning. So daily prayers, morning prayers, offering to the Holy Spirit. Most holy and adorable Trinity, one God in three persons, I praise you and give you thanks for all the favors you have bestowed upon me. Your goodness has preserved me until now. I offer you my whole being, and in particular all my thoughts, words, and deeds, together with all the trials and that I may undergo this day. Give them your blessing. May your divine love animate them, and may they serve your greater glory. I make this a morning offering in union with the divine intentions of Jesus Christ, who offers himself daily in the holy sacrifice of the Mass, and in union with Mary, his Virgin Mother and our Mother, who was always the faithful handmaid of the Lord. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. I got my coffee, said a prayer. We're ready to go. All right, so a lot has happened. So it's been a couple days. My wife woke up early one morning. It was like 2 days ago. The night before, I want to stay, hang out with my wife in the morning. So did not do a video. Did another opportunity to wake up early in the morning yesterday. I failed. I'm like, dang it. So I woke up at 9, had to go work with Lyft, drive for Lyft. So it's a little slower today. So that's what I really like about Lyft is if I did bad or slow one day, I can make it up by just working more. So I had to wake up a little earlier, which I did not. So I had to leave early. My income is important, more important than anything else, because it provides for my family. So I had to wake up early. By the time I got out of the house was at 10 a.m. So didn't do a video yesterday, and I woke up today. I was like, you know what? No, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. So, and then Tuesday, which was another day I wasn't able to make a show or episode because my mother-in-law, she went to do surgery. She went to go have surgery, and it was a quick operation that they had on her nose, and it was a very sad moment because she felt very sad going through the whole process. And she's my mother-in-law, and I love her dearly. She, my actual mother has passed away since 2011. So to me, my mother-in-law is really a truly person as if she was my own mother. So I really have a lot of respect, a lot of love for her, and she just, like I said, she's a wonderful person, and she did so much to influence my wife and who I love dearly. So I respect her so much. So it was hard for her at one point. So think about her all the time, especially during this time. So she stayed the night, Monday night, and she had her operation early in the morning Tuesday. So I didn't do an episode, and she ended up coming back a couple hours later, and she rested. She felt kind of tired, had a wooziness, so she's feeling better, she said. So thank God they found some things, cancerous type, but they cleared it out, and it's, thank you, God, for giving us strength to go through this. So wanted to let you know about the things I want to talk about now. So there's a lot to get to. I wrote down in my little book here of all the things I want to talk about today, and it is pretty crazy. Let me, yeah, I'll just leave it like this. So the first one that comes up is Cardi B song. Have you guys seen that? WAP, WAP. And if I remember correctly, it's wet app. You can fill in the rest. And I may be wrong what it stands for, but regardless, that's what she was talking about. Is literally a porno with words. I didn't know how else to explain it with my wife. I told my wife, I heard this song and it felt like I had to, take a shower and felt all nasty. So it was really crazy. And I basically explained to my wife that she was describing how to have sex with men in a very, very sick way. So I got to scratch my back. So what else did I write? Oh yeah, that was the other thing. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the song itself, wow. So first off, it's real bad for women. Don't get it twisted. Anyone that thinks that this is empowering is lying to yourself. And whenever they mention empowerment, and I had to write this, I felt I was compelled to write this on a couple of videos I saw. On the main video that had 69 million views, that was a couple days ago. I bet you it is more than 69 million views. And there were people talking about it, which was, they mentioned that it was great. It was so much about women empowerment. They can do whatever they want. And I'm like, well, first off, they just want to be like men back in whenever, a long time. For many years, men has overpowered women. And the sucky thing about it is we interpret it bad or wrong. And it has nothing to do to be submissive with your wife. They always mention that because it happens to say in the Bible, but they don't talk about what the next sentence or two. It talks about how the man should treat the woman as if he, and I may be paraphrasing it, but from what I got out of it was as if she was the church. And again, if we don't have no respect for the church, then it doesn't matter, essentially. But when you talk about having the same reason, love her as you love God or love the church, it takes a whole nother level. So it's sad that women has to feel that they have to be just like men and be promiscuous and show off their sexual parts. It is just really crazy what's going on now. But they can't have it both ways. Again, they're negating their own sexuality. We are sexual beings, so we are made to be attractive to women as men. And then when women supposed to be attractive to men. That's how we were born. Apart from the gay side of it, which I truly do not believe. I believe that God made us for men to be attracted to women. That's it. There's nothing wrong for me to say that. It's my belief. And I believe that women were born to love a man and to be attractive to a man. So going from that, knowing that you are sexually attractive to the opposite sex, it's only a matter of time when nature comes in. So what I mean by that is when you keep showing your body, showing especially your sexual parts of your body, and you don't even have to show all of it, which they show pretty much all of it. So it's even worse. But if you show just part of it, Our minds are so powerful for women and men. I always joke about it. They said, oh, it doesn't matter what I'm wearing, just don't look. Okay, what if a guy goes out in a Speedo? It goes bananas, if you know what I mean. In a Speedo with a heart on. You think women are not going to notice that? You think women are not going to have a slight thought of using that for sexual purposes? You're not? So it's crazy. And you're lying to yourself. You are attracted to that. So when you keep pushing it to millions of men, and who knows, women too. In this world, women love women, which I disagree with. But even that, whoever's attracted to that sexual body, all you're gonna think about is sex. It's just it makes sense. It's common sense. So it's crazy how they think this is women empowerment, because all men are gonna do, and I wrote this on the comment. I'm like, and I was very explicit, because if you want to be real, I'll be real with you. And I used a lot of F words. I said a lot of the P words. And I'm not talking about firefighter or Patrick. I'm talking about bad words, that how you describe to have sex. And I was like, this is all's going to happen, or what's going to happen, always will happen, is women will never be equal to men and never have equality, never have equal rights. And most of all, will never have respect with this video. It's just a fact. And I told him, like, all we will think about, and even me if I keep watching it because I'm a man, all we're going to think about is how many times or how many ways we can have sex with you. And once we ejaculate, whether we masturbate, whether we have sex with another woman and think of you, or again masturbate, or just imagining it, you can masturbate in your head all the time. Whatever the case may be, we're gonna be with you in those 100 seconds, and that's it. We'll throw you away. You're just another sexual thought we had. And believe me, men have many sexual thoughts. Where's the respect in that? Where's listening to your opinion? Where's understanding your point of view? Nothing of that. That's what that video represents. Plain and simple. And if you don't believe me, look back at my other videos that I talked about, where this young black man, probably 20, no more than 20, when I told him about my wife and I practiced chastity, and we practiced chastity for before we got married, which was about 3 years, and he was cussing too. He was like, "What the F?" He was like, What did you guys do then if you didn't have sex?" He literally told me that. He literally told me, "What did you guys do if you couldn't have sex?" He was just mind boggled. And I said it as a joke. I'm like, we talked. I mean, it's crazy how there's a misunderstanding that in order for women to be equal to men, they have to be like men. No. Men have to be respectful to women. Simple as that. It's our job. It's our job to respect you and show you that you are more valuable than anything. It's us that screwed up, not you. So it's crazy how these many women now, millions of women, have this mindset, and it's very, very dangerous, because all you're going to invite is men who don't give a crap about you, men who only use you for sex, and men that just won't think twice about hitting you upside the head, because you're just nothing to them. I mean, that's the truth. You're nothing to them. Why do you think we still have these pay gaps? Oh, there you go. Right there. These, pay gaps for women compared to men. Because we don't care. We know you can do whatever you want. You can vilify yourself. You can act like a fool, we're still going to make more money than you. Simple as that. Because we don't care. You provide this service, you provide this excitement for a couple seconds, and that's all that's going to happen. I disagree with that. I disagree with you have to show your body to be empowered. You know how you can be empowered? Going on YouTube and learning a craft or learning about history, opening a book, learning, opening a business, selling, making money to provide for your family. That is women empowerment. To have a baby when everyone tells you not to, that you cannot do it. All these statistics are stacked against you about being a single mother, about not being able to go to college, about not being able to fulfill your career, your professional career. Doing all that while having a baby. That's empowerment. That is the most powerful woman I know of. And yet, I said nothing about her showing her body. I said nothing about her dancing up and down with almost no clothes on. Nothing. There's this quick video that I saw about I don't know what channel it was, but it was the Alpha M. I don't like his videos. I watch his videos maybe once or twice every 4 or 5 years just to see what he got to do. And by the second video, I'm like, this doesn't represent me. He looks at least 35, maybe 40, and he still talks about how to get girls, all this stuff. I don't agree with it. I like Kirby Allison, if you ever look him up. He's a well-dressed gentleman. I like those channels. And the Gentleman Gazette, what was the other one? Cavalier, all respectable men. But Alpha M, that guy, I forgot his name, but he mentioned another guy that does videos about dancing, and he mentioned how dancing gives off just a sexual vibe, he said. And this is a guy studying dancing. And I knew that before I learned about that or before I heard from this guy. It's just common sense. And if you don't think that, you haven't danced with a woman yet at a club. Dance with a woman at a club. And I'm telling you, you will feel different. You will feel, wow, this excitement. I twirled her around. God forbid it was a song where a lot of rap songs you get pretty grinding, if you know what I mean. So all this stuff where, a woman has to dance, a woman has to show off her body, all that stuff means nothing. It's all about sex. You don't value sex. You don't appreciate sex. You don't find the beauties. You don't find the beauties of sex. You just use it as a commodity. You know what else is a commodity? Coffee. Orange juice. I mean, that's what you are. You drink coffee every day, it's nothing to you. It's almost like being hungry. You're hungry all the time, but once you finish it, who cares? On to the next thing. Same thing. It's just the same thing. When you think of a woman dancing like that, nothing empowerment. And the crazy part about it, those millions of people, especially men, they're not gonna call you out on it. They're not. Because who doesn't like sex? Like I said, it was attractive. She was attractive. It's accepting your sexuality. Not saying, oh, this does nothing to me. She's just empowering. Bull donkey, if that's a word. I like that word. It gave me a break. I don't even like saying that anymore because apparently Biden coined that phrase. So I'm going to say bananas or baloney. I like baloney. Until he starts saying it. Then I'm like, nah, I'm just going to stop. So bad song, not good for women. And then she has, I think, Kylie Jenner. Apparently Kylie Jenner's next goddess for everyone because she makes so much money. Huh, that's funny. You measure a woman's empowerment by how much money she has. Who does that? Men. Is it right? No. But you're following it. So, and she was in that video. And it's just hilarious. And it's funny, if you want to get detailed, she wasn't as revealing as the other girls. I don't think she danced. So that tells you something too. That before the whole video they made, she probably had some say on whether she danced a lot. But she was in like a bikini basically. But yeah, it's crazy. Then regarding that too, there's a guy that has, he was critiquing Ben Shapiro, but of course he talks how it is empowering and give it a break, and didn't like Ben Shapiro's point of view, which I think is dumb, because everything what I just said mirrors what Ben Shapiro says, but even more intelligently. So I agree with him, but I listened. I want to see what the other side has to say. Why is it empowerment? And he really said no reason why it's empowerment. He just says we're free to do what we want. Okay? I disagree. I think we should do things that are good to God. Or if you don't believe in God, just that are good, that will help society. This ain't going to help society at all. But really, one crazy thing that I saw, and then you're learning more about this, me too, is that I normally get commercials on YouTube about the Republican side. And I'll talk about if I'm Republican or Democrat later on. But the things I watch typically go towards Republicans, especially abortion. Or anti-abortion in that sense. And then I don't know how I got on this guy, on the one that was critiquing him. Or I think I might have typed in Ben Shapiro, so it gave me results from the search engine of YouTube. And that's how I got on it. And I saw it, I'm like, let me read it. Let's see what they got to say. And right away, that first commercial comes up before I even watch the video about Chuck Schumer. About him talking, the Democrat commercial about voting and donating and everything. And I'm like, wow, like, if YouTube was a human, it would know that I typically go right. So why is it doing that? Unless it got algorithms. What if it got algorithms or formulas where you just click on this person, you'll automatically be considered a Democrat? Or most likely. So that is baloney. When they're testified, the owners and even Facebook and Google, which owns YouTube, when they got grilled by the Senate or Congress, whoever, I'm not too sure about the political side, but I watched videos where Ted Cruz, they were testifying against or towards the, I think, senators, so towards the Senate. And Ted Cruz asked all of them, they're like, and he asked this back in 2016-ish, about, what do you do with the data? They know. And they say, and then he asked, do you have a data system where you know if they're Democratic or Republican? And he was like, no, we don't get their answers. We don't ask them if they're Democrat. And he looked at Ted Cruz as if he was crazy. Like, we don't have something like that where we ask them, are you Democrat or Republican? Which is baloney, which is bullcrap. Because you already know the answer. You don't have to ask us directly. You know by our trends. You have all this other data of what we look at. And no human has to be there. You just have to put the formula in or the algorithm and it's set up. So when I say that, like, okay, I like it because they give me Republican stuff. But I didn't like it when they gave me Democrat stuff. So apart from that, then I thought even deeper. I'm okay. This person might be a Democrat. He doesn't like Ben Shapiro, and like it all connects to it. If you don't like this person, if you like this person, if you don't like this channel, if you like this channel, most likely you will be a XYZ, whether Republican or Democrat. Just imagine if they use that against the Republicans. That's all what it's about. Just imagine if they have that data, which they do. Common sense tells us we do. That was a pure example and proof that they know. And the funny thing is they're dumb about it because they're still not human. These robots, these algorithms, these formulas, this data. It does whatever we tell it to do. And we told it, if you like this, if you click on this, you're going to be Democrat. And that's what happened. Because I'll never vote for Chuck Schumer or anything like that. But apparently I click on that button, and there you go. There's a secret. Came out. Unbelievable. So again, looking more in deep into it, that's scary. If they know we're Democrat or Republican, that's scary. That means they can control anything. And we all know that Google leans a lot towards the left instead of the right. That's scary when something has a search engine that almost entire world, 90% of the world, 6 billion people go on. That's scary. You're telling me that they won't meddle into the election. That's why people say our vote don't count. It's just simple. Because you have the data right there to control us. I'm surprised they didn't do it 2016. They had it then. But they thought he was going to lose. It was an easy thing. What do you do when you have an opponent that you know is never going to come up to your level? You brush it off. That's what they did with Trump. And that was a total mistake. So now they are pulling out all the guns. So they're not going to make a mistake. That's why I feel like Trump might not win. Not because the people didn't vote for him, but I think it's going to be controlled by these companies. I heard oligarchs. I don't know what that is. I have to look that up. But it sounds pretty much like they control people. So it's pretty crazy how things are working out right now. And it's scary. It just is. There's one connection on Joe Rogan that I watched with Joey Diaz. He mentioned, or it might have been another one with Valuetainment. With Patrick David, Bet David. He had one guest on, and he was talking about how, they were talking about Palantir, which is a $40 billion IPO that might be coming out or came out, and is basically showing. And I think I wrote it on my list here. So if I'm going over it, I have to go over it again. But I'm talking a lot about this song, but it goes into, what it is overall, what it connects to, how, what's going on, how the election might be controlled by a couple of big companies. But it talked about Palantir, going back to Valuetainment, that podcast or that channel, and he mentioned how he connected towards, Palantir is a software company that can basically predict if a person is doing crime or not, or will do crime, because it has information access to everything that us as humans do. So if they can find out where your car's at, they can find out what have you done. They'll find out everything, which will help the police, they say, and help apparently governments as well to see where people are at, and everything is tracking basically. And it's a big IPO, and they were talking about privacy issues and everything. And there's one, I think it was a pastor, and he mentioned, he was like, you just gotta be careful, because if they can control that, they'll control everything else about your privacy, and it's scary. And then he mentioned about Tesla, or about Elon Musk creating this company, or have this company out that they can read your mind essentially, or the neurons, or Neuralink, I think he mentioned, how of course It talks about the good stuff, how they can cure whatever cognitive issue you have, but at the same time, they can control everything. They know everything inside of your body. They have to help you. So in order, for the sake of helping you to stay alive, they have to have control of your entire body. Do you want to take that risk? So I kind of agreed with them that, yes, I think it's cool, but it helps, saves lives with this software, can help police do their work better. I get it. But at what cost? So it's very scary, very scary. So again, don't try to lie to me and say that Google doesn't use that power. Same thing as Disney. Same thing as Disney. Oh no, it's all about the kids. Yeah, right. Baloney. Bull crap. You have so much power right now that you can do any type of ideology that you want. That profits you. Not because it's good, it's because it profits you even more. That's what's crazy. If you look at Disney, 20 years ago, they talked about Christian families. They talk about saying a prayer during dinner. They talk about the nuclear family. They represent all of this. Why? Because that was most of it 20, 30 years ago, especially in the 80s and 90s. And somehow more and more divorced people came about. So they just follow the times. I bet you if a nuclear family becomes more and more in about 10, 20 years and divorce rates goes lower and lower, I bet you they're going to talk about prayer then. I bet you they're going to talk about nuclear family then. All they do is follow the times. They're just they follow the money. That's what it is, because it's a company. I mean, don't get it twisted. They're supposed to do that. They're not supposed to teach your kids, to guide your kids, to have them be a platform for you to put their kids in front of TV 8 hours of the day. God forbid you're even there with them and you still put them in front of the TV. They're not supposed to do that. You are supposed to do that. You are the parent. We are the parents. And yeah, it's hard. It takes a little more time, but you have to do it. So I'm running out of space here on my phone, so it may have to start another one. I forgot to delete some things. And let me cross that off, and I will get back to you in just a second, and I'm going to connect the video of it, so I'm just going to delete some things and go back on the camera, and so I have more space so it doesn't block me off, and we'll continue then. Right, we are back. I was able to save delete a lot of the videos I already uploaded, so we are good to go. So I was talking about Cardi B. I talked about that. I talked about how Disney's not supposed to control us, not supposed to raise our children. We are. So all that's connected to the government, the companies, big companies, your Google, your YouTube. So it's crazy. All right, going to the next one. Kamala Harris. Hold on. Yeah, so I talk about, I already mentioned about how YouTube can sway an election, because all they have to do is collect money from whatever Democrats who have no self-respect. Say, okay, I'll give you money for this. And they'll do it. So it's crazy. But definitely they're swaying. They talk about Russia. Again, it's that I believe in this for anything. Dog, look at this bone. You say to a dog, look at this bone, and you're doing something else over here. That's what they're doing. They're like, here, look at this thing over here. Don't look over here. Look over here. Here, hey. And I do whatever I need to do over here. That's what they're doing. Google says, oh, no, look over here. We care about privacy. We don't ask you if you're a Democrat or a Republican. No. Here, we use algorithms to say, okay, if you do XYZ, you will be in a Democrat category, Republican category. Hey, there's Republicans that, that we don't like their business model because it doesn't help us. But for the Democrats, they said they can pay for us. And this is Wall Street too. And we'll talk about Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris became the VP over, a day or so ago. And automatically, Ben Shapiro talked about how Wall Street is going to love her because she's just another person that they can topple over and tell what to do. And right away, I saw a YouTube video or didn't watch it, but saw the title of it, that Wall Street likes her. What a coincidence. So it's pretty crazy. The Willie Brown affair, if you see it, again, it's just data. It's just information that they don't give us. They don't tell us about how she became a person, or became a powerful person, attorney general, a senator. They don't look at her past, and believe me, they will now. They will look at it now. Trump will look at it. And I hope they expose her very easily because she's a fraud. She's a phony. She does what people say that tell her what, or she does what people tell her what to do. And that's what it is. Man, what is going on? So Willie Brown, while he was married, he was sleeping around with her. And she was nobody at the time. And little by little, and he was a mayor. So if you want to talk about him being powerful already, and he's just sleeping with another woman, again, going back to Cardi B, you're just a piece of ass. That's all you are. And she did it too. She said, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this. Not about respecting me and say, I demand respect. No, I'm going to take advantage of this. This guy is being dumb. All right, I'll be dumb too. So she was with them, having an affair while he was married. And I don't think they ever dated. Or I don't think they ever married. She just used him and he used her. Oh, but it's okay because it's consent. It's wrong. Simple as that. So she got powerful, and what a coincidence. She got powerful. She became a district attorney or attorney general, one of them. I don't know but apparently, I think it's the DA. She became a DA. But during her time with him, and then she became a senator. You telling me that he didn't use his influence to help her? It's crazy. And he did. And then he got, I don't think he got arrested, but he went through some scandals, some fraud or whatever, money laundering. You can look it up. And she distanced herself away from him. And then she became this senator, and then she ran for president and everything, which people didn't like at all. I mean, she lied about so many different things. And then Tulsi Gabbard called her out on you could look it up, it's a famous video. I saw a couple times where she mentioned how she put more criminals in, stayed in jail for cheap labor. Like I said, and the weirdest thing about it, they thought she was going to be great because she's a tough on the law. Well, Democrats on her side hate the law right now. They're looting right now. They don't care about the law. And I've seen a lot of Democrats not liking her already. So I'm happy to read that and watch that because I thought the opposite. Again, the race card is a powerful card. Picking a person because she was solely black, that's what they did with Obama. And look, he won twice. So that's why I'm kind of scared that if they just chose her just for that. I mean, if you take away her race, she literally sucked in the race, in the presidential race. They thought because she was black, she was, I think like 4% of the vote. I mean, a very low percent. And she left. She got out. But they still chose her as a VP. Talk about being a powerful woman. You can't even make it a president, and you got a white guy in front of you to become a president. What does that tell you? You talk about women's rights and everything. and yet you are a black woman under a white guy because you couldn't do it. That's hilarious. So I think people are going to see through her. I'm happy about it because that's ridiculous. I mean, that is just crazy how they just chose her because she was black and people know about her. But remember, they know bad things and not good things about her. So it's not going to go out very well. And I'm happy about it because I want Trump to win. Whoever votes for to go against abortion, against Planned Parenthood, I'm all for. And again, everything else is just noise for me. So Kamala Harris is a phony. She said she smoked weed while she was putting people in jail for weed, and she lied because she was listening to Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg didn't come out until later but she said she was in college when she heard it, which was before Snoop Dogg. So it was hilarious how they debunked her. She's just a follower. She's not a leader. She's a follower of a white guy who also she called out during the primary debates. How it says he was a racist. Biden was a racist because he opposed busing. He praised guys during the segregation time, and she still went with them. This is hilarious. Then her acceptance speech, she talks so much about Bo, the guy who died, and again, and then I heard other things how he died. I don't know if it's true or not. He died of a tumor, a brain tumor, but I heard he killed himself, but that may be wrong. I don't know. But again, Google controls it right away. I can't find nothing else. And I don't know where I heard that from, but I heard it from somewhere that his son that's living now, Hunter, is with his wife, with Bo's wife now, like sexually and intimately, like they're a couple now. So it's weird. And that's what's crazy about it. And I don't know, like I said, it's crazy how they just bait us. They try to think we're dumb. Oh, she's black, vote for her. Who cares about anything else? Who cares what she does? Remember, just vote for her. Vote for her. She's good. Everything's good. Here, look over here. Don't look at her past. I'm telling you, she has worse of a past than Trump. Trump was just another victim. I think that's why everyone didn't care. He was just a horny guy. Who wasn't? I mean, you can't have it both ways, remember. But they try to pin it on him that he was bad. No. It's just, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Which I disagree with. But here's the other thing. I'd rather have all that because he's a sinner. We're all sinners. The one who is without sin cast the first stone. Simple as that. So going to the next one. She's a fraud, Kamala Harris. And I hope they both lose. And I hope they both... I hope they both just stay in a hole together and with no internet and just talk their sorrows away. What did we do wrong, Kamala? I don't know, Biden. I thought you were racist. Why did you choose me? Oh, yeah, I forgot. I need the money. Who are you? What's your name? Biden, are you crazy? I'm Kamala. Who's Kamala? I don't know where I'm at right now. What's going on right now? What are we doing? What's going on right now? Oh my gosh, man. So the next one is continuation liver dad. Oh my gosh, I don't know this one. Why do I like to put little like short words. Why did I put continuation? Continuation black girl lives with dad. Aha. Okay, I remember that. So it's a Lyft ride that I gave. So I think I just put continuation for some reason. But yeah, she lives with dad. I put no instead of nano. I'm like, what's nano? No. So I had this rider. She, same thing. 3 kids, 3 daughters, and 6, I guess 3 and 2-week old. Just recently born. Beautiful family. And I picked her up. She had to go to a drug and alcohol test thing, but she had to drop her kids off because she couldn't bring them in. So she was going to drop her kids off and then go back to it. She didn't talk too much when her kids were in there. She opened up more when we dropped the kids off. But the girls were so cute. Remember, I have 2 young boys, and they were just fighting. It was just so cute. So we were talking about that a little bit. But as she was opening up more about her family, she mentioned she lives with her dad. And her dad, who is obviously the grandpa, he protects them a lot. And she had to yell at the girl because she wasn't allowed to go outside because she might get sick or something. And the father was like, no, come outside. And she grabbed her and he was like, don't you put your hands on my granddaughter. She was like, this is my daughter. And so having kind of hard times, but she says she still respects her dad. She knows that's their grandpa, the grandpa and everything. So that was one thing, and I'll talk about that, how it's a no-no. And because we just know, but and then the guy across right to the side of us too, he kind of connects to it as well as far as the situation. So from there, she was talking about a little bit more about the father. She was like, the father's not in their lives. I'm like, I gotta ask, if I may, just want to learn, soak up all this information, what's going on in this world, why? And she mentioned, I'm just going to say the data first, and I'll give you my opinion. She told me that it was just a one-night stand. They had a good time, and they did it multiple times, she said. And when she found out she was pregnant, she texted him, and he blocked her number, and he blocked her on Facebook. His aunt blocked her on Facebook as well, and blocked her on her cell phone as well. So she didn't know what to do. She created another Facebook account to get a hold of him. And a little bit later on, she said he ended up going to jail. And I'm like, I gotta ask why. He had a lot of drugs on him. So I didn't ask specifically, like cocaine, methamphetamine, which kind? I think she would be kind of weird me asking that. But I got the gist. He got drugs. And so, and then she said, I'm not even kind of mad at that. I'm mad that I try to call him sometimes in jail, and he still does not recognize that he's the father of her 2-week-old daughter. And I didn't ask if she had other fathers from the 2 other kids. I don't know. I didn't ask. But she just mentioned this guy of the 2-week-old child, and he still doesn't recognize that he's the father. And she was like, you're the only one I slept with. Like, I know. And if you want to talk about pornography, if you want to talk about the family, if you want to talk about the Cardi B, all this ties into this right now, these real life situations that women are going through. So this is why I get so angry about these videos, about these Cardi B's, about pornography, about Disney. All these things, especially Disney, because they have power to influence a child, and they are influencing promiscuous things. And you don't think about it, and it's very, very subtle, but more importantly, they might have a father and a stepfather. All these Disney movies, they implement these situations, and a lot of them are not including nuclear families. And they say these beautiful families, even though they have 2 different ones, Cheaper by the Dozen, I think it's a Disney movie. All these little things, or that include a family separation, not a non-nuclear family. And see how much it is. But even more intense is your pornography or your Cardi B movies, your videos. If you want to talk about empowerment, men just don't give a crap about women. And that's why it hurts me hearing these stories, because I'm 2 feet away from her. I know we're supposed to do 6 feet social distancing, but she sat up front because I had 3 kids in the back. I was not even 2 feet. I was 1 foot away from her. If you want to talk about a real interaction, a communication with this woman, a young woman. So I told her, I'm like, first off, thank you for having the baby, because you could easily have aborted her. Simple as that. Like, why would you want a baby if you know the father's not going to be involved? He blocked you. And I told her this too. I'm like, I don't know this guy, but based on his actions, I have no respect for. He's a punk. And I really thought she was going to defend him, but she didn't. Because she knows he is. He is a punk. What kind of man would do that? This child needs you. This woman needs you. And there's nothing wrong for a woman needing a man and a man needing a woman. Nothing wrong with that. Statistics tells us, but we can't say it. But they can use that statistics for abortion purposes. But they can't say it to lift up a woman or lift up a man in this case. Has nothing to do with the woman in this case. She's doing her responsibility even more. Where's the man? Oh, man. So it got to me. And then the other thing where it says a no-no, it shouldn't be this way. Then the grandfather comes in. And I have so much respect for the grandfather. She said he was a habitual cheater. That's a whole other story. We're all sinners, so there's always levels of sins. But she said he took care of 7 kids. He was always there, so you can't knock him. Yeah, he may have hurted his significant other by sleeping around, she said. But then he has a whole other responsibility of the kids. So it's just crazy. Now we have to decide, is it my significant other or my kids I care about? And I disagree with that. You got to care for both of them. Both of them. But hey, if we're dealing here, please take at least care of one of them. And it's just unbelievable. So it's a no-no for not the grandfather or not her. It's just a situation that they have to survive. So it looks, I'm assuming she can't afford going, living on her own. So I get that. But again, it's so crazy how they should not live together. My grandpa mentioned this when I was young. I didn't even have a significant other or date a serious relationship with the girl yet. But my grandpa always said, he was like, Nico, if you ever get married, don't live with the parents. Don't live with your parents. I'm like, why? He was like, we've done that. Your grandmother, which is his wife, she passed away at that time when he told me. But he says, your grandmother wanted to do it. And I said, no. He's like, we may live in a small hut, but it's our hut, he says. It's our house. He was like, because you don't want to deal with things. It's 2 separate families, 2 separate opinions. I never wanted to do that. So I told your grandma that we may live humbly, but we will have our privacy and we will be one. That's a man. I'm like, man, that's so cool. And it's so true. I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't really take it as at face value, but now I see it. There's nothing wrong with it. But there's nothing wrong with, having your grandparents in their grandkids' lives. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you talk about living, it's a whole situation that's different. It's your domain. It's your home zone. And when you have other people in there, you're going to treat different. Believe me, I stayed with my sister and my brother-in-law for about a year. I even had to go to ask them. And I appreciate my brother-in-law saying no at first. And my sister's like, no. But it motivated me. It got me mad for a second. But now that I'm older, a couple years older, I respect that now, that he said no. Because I wanted my wife and I to stay with them. Because I was engaged at the time. So we didn't live together. And I'm like, well, let me live with my siblings. It can help me with money. But there was one time before then, before I was engaged, that I had to live with them. So I lived with them twice, basically. And the first time, because I needed help, I didn't have enough money, and I just started another job, so they truly helped me. And I wasn't I was just a single guy. Well, I was dating my wife, but we weren't engaged or anything, and I didn't do anything bad, so it worked out good. But still, it was two separate lives, two separate dynamics in that household. And I truly appreciate my siblings or my sister letting me in. And then I stayed when I was engaged, and then we had this chat where I was like, hey, and again, I'll be honest, I purely thought of money. That's it. How much money I could save by living here. I'm like, could we stay here? My wife and I will stay in one room. Can we do it? I had the goal to ask him that. And it's crazy. If you want to talk about things you regret, I regret asking that. But I'm so happy that he was honest. He said no. He said in a different way, but he said no. And I appreciate that. At that time, I was like, man, that's crazy. And my sister, they ended up retracted. It was funny. My sister had a chat with them later on, and they came back, and they were like, no, you're here anytime, And I'll be honest, I liked my brother-in-law's answer better because it was direct. It was honest. He didn't tell me why. Well, yeah, he did tell me why. That is just going to be too much. But now that I'm learning, that I'm seeing these real-life situations, and I didn't take my grandpa's advice. He said parents, but also same thing with any other people. You have to be alone. Your own privacy is something different, but having your own place, whether you're renting, whether you're owning, is separate from everyone else. You can go to your own home at the end of the day. So, I respect that of him, and you have to. You have to go and try yourself. And that's why I mentioned about this neighbor here. Across the street, or not across the street, across the little alleyway, I went over and said hi to him. I took out the trash. He was bringing in a dryer, and I was like, okay, let me say hi to him, because that was for sale, and they just bought the house we saw. And I was like, hey, my name is Nico. Nice to meet you. This is my son, my wife right over there. Our other son. He was like, hey, nice to meet you. I think his name is Sam. And he mentioned how, this is his father-in-law, and he's helping him, and he has a wife. I think they only have one child. He's a little older, but less than like 6 years old. But so he mentioned, I'm like, cool. Where'd you guys move from? Let's try some small talk. And he mentioned, he was like, oh yeah, we used to live on the other side of in town with my father-in-law. We used to live with them, and he just said nonchalantly, he's like, yeah, and then we just wanted a place of our own. And I was like, yes. I told my wife, I'm like, that is a man. That is a man, and that is a strong woman. Say, you know what? We done this with our family, and there's nothing wrong with having conflicts. Again, that's part of the territory. You're going to have conflicts. That's why it's not good to live there, because you know it's going to happen. It's just difference of opinions. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you live with that person, totally different. You can go visit and have a couple conversations that you disagree with them, different opinions that you disagree with them. But when you live there, it's totally different. It's their house, not yours. So something about having pride and ownership, saying, you know what, I want to have our own. And there's nothing wrong with that. So it's a beautiful thing. I respect him. I don't even know him, but based on his actions, I respect him. That's a responsible man. I'm sure that she was working, the wife, so she's a responsible woman. And it's nice. Compared to our other neighbors, unfortunately, both of our neighbors side by side. Again, there's nothing wrong with it, but that shows you, that gives you an example of not being a man. They have one kid and another one on the way, and they're living with their parents, the girl's parents. As a guy, and they're 26, 27 years old. They're not young. But as a guy, don't you have self-respect? Say, you know what, I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna take responsibility. We're gonna live on our own. Hopefully he grows up just like the other guy did. And there's nothing wrong with saying I've grown up at a later age. It's just doing it. But no one tells them. No one tells them that you're doing wrong. And the parents are doing it for selfish reasons. They want to keep a close eye on them. So it's wrong on both ends. Let your kids live. Let your kids go out into this world and live. Make mistakes. You learn from them. Let them. And I know it's hard for me because my kid is young and I'll probably feel the same way. And if they had the opportunity, I'll probably say, hey, here's money, here's this, stay with us. I get it. So I'm going to have to be re-lectured on this soon when my kids get older. So I get it on both ends, but it doesn't work. It's not good for any side of it. It may have, like I said, short-term gains, but long-term losses. So that's the crazy part. Let me cross off the things that I said already. Kamala Harris did that. So yeah, that's what's crazy about it. What was this? President attempted shooting. Whew, you see that? They had a press conference, President Trump, and then during the press conference, Secret Service had to tell him to step out, and they didn't know what happened, but they ended up shooting someone that had a gun on them, and apparently he had like PJs on, right by the White House. Secret Service had to shoot him. Bet you that's not going to be on CNN. And I actually made the gut-wrenching decision of subscribing to CNN. Not because I like them, because I truly, truly dislike them. I won't say hate, because that means I have a lot of hate in my body, and no, they don't deserve my hate. But I truly dislike them. Truly. But you know what? I have to be fair. They're a news organization, and I have my personal Catholic agenda. By talking bad about them, I can't do it without information, without data. So I'm going to have to get proof. So I have to watch them. I have to. So I can at least tell them, or tell people, my 5 subscribers, thank you so much, that there is fraud in the news media, even though we know that. But I want to bring data. And the only way is to watch them. So, I like what, what's his name, Mark Dice says. He was like, I watch this crap so you guys don't have to. So I'm the same way. And like he says, maybe I should watch Mark Dice, because at least he puts the videos on. I don't know how to put a video right here so I can look at it or something, what Mark Dice does. I love it. And many other people do it too. I don't know what it's called. Please put it in the comment section. But I don't know what it's called, but I want to have a video on the screen so you can see it and you can hear it too. And I can see it and I can hear it too. And I will comment. I'll push pause. I'll talk about it. That's what I want to do, because that's even more accurate. Let them talk, and so you can see it, and then we can opinionate on it. But yeah, it's not going to be on CNN, because God forbid someone wants to kill the president. And that's what I told my wife. It didn't come true, which is so good. I'm happy it didn't come true. But I told my wife, I'm like, if President Trump becomes president, well, if Trump became president, I told her before the elections in 2016, I was like, if Trump became president, he's going to get assassinated. That's how I felt based on so many of these riots. And they happened already. These Black Lives Matter, they came up in 2016. They were quiet for about 2 or 3 years, and what a coincidence they came up again. You tell me that the media didn't have nothing to do with that? Baloney. So it's pretty crazy that all of them are working together, and I don't like that. And man, I watched Candace Owens yesterday on PragerU. I cannot find her show. It says Candace Owens Show as a title, but it's the channel of PragerU, which I like PragerU and I subscribe to it, so I still get to see her shows. But she had a Muslim on, and it was so cool. He talked about the differences between Christianity and Islam and different sects or divisions of Islam. Same thing with us in Christianity. And I really enjoyed Candace Owens' side of it, because she came from a point of view where, just like ours, she was like, I just don't know about it. She was like, this is what I heard when I was younger. The Quran was the was the Islamic Bible. That's it. But so it's really cool how she put that perspective where it's just down to earth. Say, hey, I don't know. Please tell me. And then what a coincidence. It fell along. But one of the big things that he mentioned was how the fundamentalists left, or fundamentalist Muslims, which are the mean ones that will fight in the name of Islam, which apparently are the majority, he said, and the minority are the ones that are more peaceful, he said. But he says Islam, the majority of them, is not peaceful. And he talked about, long story short, he talked about how they want the left to win in the U.S. because they accept money, they said. That's really what he said. He says they know that all Democrats want are votes, and Republicans too. I mean, we all want votes, but they go to the extreme to get votes. He mentioned about and he talked about immigration. He talked about blacks, how they target specifically blacks, not Americans. No, you're black. Let's get all the black vote. Let's get all the Latino vote. Let's get all the illegal immigrant vote. They are specifically targeting these people so they can get votes. Not on the Republican side say, hey, we're all American, vote for us. I mean, it's just crazy. So they know they're getting numbers, so all they have to do is pay them or give them something in return. And they have that power, and they can push their ideology. So it's all about power. It's all about power. So, and that's what's crazy about it. In Christianity, we converted millions of people, but it was based on Jesus Christ. I don't know. It's not like we are forcing people. We are letting them know about the good news, that there is a better life with Jesus Christ. There is a better life with God. And they just liked it. So I think it's different from Islam, where they submit, like you have to do it. And I don't believe in, we converted people into Catholicism by force. There might have been some bad apples, but not a billion people. I could tell you that. There's powerfulness in God that we can't force them. And yeah, same thing with Islam. I think there's some people that truly love to be a Muslim. It has nothing to do with being forced or anything. But there are some bad apples, and it looks like there's a lot more bad apples than your extremist Christians. Those extremist people that when a gay person died or something, they say, he went to hell or whatever. That's not necessary. That's not necessary at all. God will judge them. But again, do they have the right to say that when they're living? Yeah. But when they're dead, come on, have some at least decency. The person's dead. God truly will judge them. But yeah, I mean, as far as them going to them, but again, as a Catholic, we don't push that. We defend more than we preach as Catholics right now. And a lot of people don't even defend, so you see more of it going down. So it's crazy. But going back to the shooting, that's how it is. The CNNs of the world will not cover it. The president almost died. Could have died. But the Secret Service, they won't talk nothing about the good things about the Secret Service, about president almost being killed. Nothing of that. So it's crazy. Then it says, Obama did executive orders. So I think Ben Shapiro, I got this from Ben Shapiro, that it was the payroll tax. So Nancy Pelosi talked about, oh my gosh, and I think Chuck Schumer and even Biden talked about it now, about if the payroll tax, if he cuts the payroll tax, it will directly affect your Social Security, the people who are receiving Social Security. Although that could be true, it is going to be less money. It was but overall, he was that has been a Ponzi scheme, he said. So I'm kind of verbatim repeating what Ben Shapiro says, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. Just as a business perspective, we knew that it's going to be tapped out by 2037. That's less than 20 years from now. Us, we won't get any. I'm 31, so I'm not even going to be old enough to receive it. So they already had problems of getting money. It just didn't work. Then he's talking about it right now. Oh, you're not going to receive it. Believe me, they're going to receive it. It has nothing to do with payroll tax. Yeah, they might. It might switch from 2037 to 2034, but they're still going to receive it. And it's not like he's cutting their payments off right now. But the way he said it, again, talking points. But then he talked about Obama, and he took out excerpts, like clips of Obama talking about payroll tax 2012, I think. I may be off, but maybe a year or two off. But around there, or right before his second term, he talked about how there's going to be a holiday payroll tax. And he talked about the good things about it. How people are going to appreciate having $40 saved on their checks, or on their paychecks every 2 weeks. How it's going to be very important for that. He even talked about dollar amount, $40 he mentioned. And he talked about how it's a good thing of payroll tax cuts. Same thing what Trump did. So again, it's data. It's information of us knowing. So baloney is bullcrap. Obama did it, and he did more executive orders than anyone else. And there's some of them when he did, I don't know exactly which one, but he even mentioned it was like they couldn't talk, they couldn't deal. So I just had to make this executive order, he said. The Senate or the House wouldn't talk or wouldn't be able to negotiate, so I had to do this. And he was praised on it by CNN, by everyone else. And when Trump did the same thing, oh, no, that's bad. How dare you do that? You undermine the whole democracy, all this stuff. I wanted to say give you a break, but I don't like that I don't like that anymore because Biden keyed it, so whatever. So, got one more thing. Oh, game rooms. I'll end with this. I don't think I talked about game rooms. If you don't know what that is, look it up, but I'll give you a quick synopsis of it. The computerized gambling places, computerized game places where you play with the computer, or they have kind of a slot machine type, but mostly they're a monitor, a computer, and you play a game. And here's the crazy part about it. Most of them are in a janky area, and a lot of them are quiet. They put, screens over the windows, so a black screen so you don't see from outside. No one can see from outside, and from inside it looks darker. It's a mini gambling place, a mini Vegas. And that's what I thought from the very beginning. I saw these things in Texas popping up little by little, and I noticed, my aunt who passed away already, unfortunately, she went there a lot, and I just remember, I'm like, she talks a lot about this. Like, she really likes this. What is this? And I never looked more into it. Then, obviously, with Lyft, I'm picking and taking people more and more to these game rooms. And then you start chatting with them, and then you start hearing their phone calls. There's one guy that said he didn't have money, and he took money out of her bank account. And she's calling him. It's like, hey, where's the money? He's like, no, worry. I'll make this money. Don't worry. And he's using it as a source of income. It's unbelievable how people are treating this like it's their life. And I'm talking about this is all night. They're open all night. And the one that I take people to here, there's at least 3 of them here in a small town. 3 of them. And maybe even 4 if I remember correctly. But I pick up people at 10 o'clock at night. I picked up people during the day. And they go back and forth. People that don't even have homes. They live in a motel. I pick up people from a motel and take them to a game room. I pick up people to go there to collect their couple dollars cash and come back. I pick up people that they stay there for a good 6-7 hours. How do I know that? Because I get the ride again to pick them up from there, to go back to the place that I picked them up from the very beginning, 6 hours before. I don't never take in someone that lives in a nice neighborhood that has a $300,000 house over there. I never picked up someone that picked them up from a golf course. Never picked them up someone from a nice city or a nice apartment. Nothing. There's one guy, I know his situation. He's a player guy. And I know the mother because I picked her up at where she works at a fast food place. They all live together. If you want to talk about that, but my opinion about if he's a man or not. But he's been in jail many times, he says. He's out, but he's done his gangbanging, he said. He's not with it like that anymore, he says. We'll see. But he has a daughter, a young baby. So I guess I have to give him credit for staying there. But he's staying with his girlfriend's parents. And I pick him up all the time. All the time. And then to the point where he even tried to sell me on it. So yeah, man, you should go in there. Have you ever played that before? I was like, no. And I felt God gave me the opportunity to tell him that. I'm like, no, man, it's addicting. I'm not getting into that stuff. It ain't. It went the one way and it went out the other. But I told him. But yeah, he was like, no, I can, instead of a tip, I can give you like $10 so you can put on your account so you can go over there and play it. You have that credit. I'm like, no, man, give me like $1 or $2 a tip. I'm good with that. He was like, all right. But yeah, it's crazy. It's like they want more and more people into it because they know they're doing wrong. It's an addiction. It's crazy. And low-income people are doing it. Low income. Think about that. If a person's addicted to this, they can't stop. They keep paying more and more. And I think if I don't have it on here, yeah, video games. Let's put the, I'll talk about that later. Kid, Best Buy. So I remember. There's a story about that I wanted to tell you about. It's the same thing as gaming, video games. And I'll talk about that in probably my next episode. But yeah, it's same thing. An addiction. You want more and more. You cannot stop. They know that. These companies know that. These low down businesses know that. They don't even take care of the outside. It's not presentable. They don't even got a professional logo, professional what do you call it, poster, professional sign up on top of the roof or top of the building. It literally says game room, or there's a lucky 7, they said, or some dumb, what do you call it, dumb Vegas wannabe looking name. And you know it is bad because they don't care. They don't care because they know that it's an addiction. They're going to come no matter what. I hate going there at night because there's no lights in the parking lot. There's a light, kind of like a porch light, but that's only for the entrance. It's pretty dark there, but they don't care because they know people are inside there. And with the computers, they're all computers. You think the computers are dumb? No, they tell them what to do. Humans tell what the computers what to do. Let them win a little bit, but make them lose more. Make them win a little bit, make them lose more. Same thing as Vegas. House always wins. But instead of having a big establishment, they have a low down place in a low down area. So it's about 8:30. It's time to go. We'll talk about it later on about the news. I'll talk about more about news after I give these topics because there's a lot going on. And I want to talk about that too. But yeah, we'll chat more, and one of these days I'll have people on. I'm excited about that, and I think there's a handful of people that I run into. They might not be anybody, but they're very interesting to listen to. So I think you might like that as well. But God bless. Let's say a prayer. Morning offering. Oh my God, I offer you all my prayers, works, and sufferings, in union with the Sacred Heart of Jesus, for the intentions for which he pleads and offers himself in the holy sacrifice of the Mass, and thanksgiving for your favors, in reparation for my offenses, and in humble supplication for my temporal and eternal welfare, for the conversion of sinners, and for the relief of the poor souls in purgatory. I wish to gain all the indulgences attached to the prayers I shall say and to the good works I shall perform this day. Amen. And prayer for God's protection and Christ's presence. As I arise today, may the strength of God pilot me, the power of God uphold me, the wisdom of God guide me. May the eye of God look before me, the ear of God hear me, the word of God speak for me. May the hand of God protect me, the way of God lie before me, the shield of God defend me, the hoist of God save me. May Christ shield me today, Christ with me, Christ before me, and Christ behind me. Christ in me, Christ beneath me, and Christ above me. Christ on my right and Christ on my left. Christ when I lie down, Christ when I sit, Christ when I stand, Christ in the heart of everyone who thinks of me. Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks to me, speaks of me. Christ in every eye that sees me. Christ in every ear that hears me. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Hope everyone has a good Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning, Thursday day. Hope you guys have a great time, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.